Manchester United have been well beaten 3-0 by Man City. Goals from Haaland, 2 goals from Haaland and 1 goal from Foden settled the one-sided game. It was a poor performance from United yet again. And today we're going to have to talk about Ten Hag. We're going to have to talk about the manager. He was outclassed today by Pep Guardiola. Totally outclassed. We're going to talk about the team, his selection of players, the style of play, the way he set up today at home, the hundreds of £1 million of his players, of his talent that he chose to keep on the bench for today's game. We're going to talk about that today. Essentially, we're going to talk about the fact that we got outclassed again by Man City today, and we deserved it. We did. We 100% deserved it. The fans at the end were also walking out 10, 15 minutes before the game. So that is a big sign that something is churning. The fans are showing their disapproval towards this manager. And listen, we've been saying this for a long time in this channel, on this channel. Ten Hag needs to change his process. He needs to change his approach very quickly, or I believe this is going to end very badly for him. There's a lot for us to discuss. There's a lot for us to analyze in regards to today's game. If you're not... Before we go any further, guys, as usual, smash the like, turn on the notifications, and if you haven't yet subscribed, do the damn thing. Subscribe to the channel. We're going to break it down. We're going to try to chop it up right now, as we usually do. So grab yourself a drink, whatever you're drinking, whether it's something that's going to touch your spirit, whether something's going to cleanse your lungs. Drink your juice, smoke your ting. Let's talk about today's game. Let's talk about it. The lineup. Let's talk about the lineup, because yes, we as a team are supposed to be moving forward. We finished third last season, and you think, after finishing third, you're going to try to close the gap the following season. And to be honest with you, as I've said before in previous videos, when I heard that we were signing players like Mason Mount, those sort of players, I thought to myself, okay, we want to close the gap on Man City. What is the manager thinking? And I've always said this. I'm so curious to find out what the manager believes, what he thinks is needed to make this team go to the next level. How has he assessed? How has he analysed the Premier League? Does he think we need to be a more stronger team, more robust, bigger players? Do you think we need more technical players? Do we need to be better in keeping the ball? What does he think we need to take us to the next level? How does he see football? What are his footballing principles, essentially? I want to know. I want to find out. And from what I see, especially when he came out this season with the transition football thing, I was thinking, no, I know the whole heavy metal Man City way. It works for some people, but I don't. A more controlled team, a more controlled style surely is always better. It's always going to win you more games. It's always going to be more sustainable. Surely a sort of Man City, Arsenal style of football, where they do monopolize possession, where it's not just let's focus on the players that are really quick, that are really dynamic. Because sometimes, and as we see, sometimes those players are not always the most technically gifted. Those players are not always the ones that make the best decision. Those players are not always the ones that want to keep the ball, because they always want to go and attack and take their man on. And if you don't play well with the ball, if you can't rotate the ball and keep possession really well and move into different places and be a team where you have players who know what to do when they have the ball in any given situation. A left back knows what to do when he has the ball at right back. A right back knows what to do when he has the ball in a centre circle. Just a team of technical players that play fluidly in the pitch, not just rigidly in their formations, and that can move and identify space. We're not playing like that, and we're not choosing the players who can play like that. And that's the type of football that I wanted the manager to implement. But it seems as if he's analysed it and he's like, cool, I'm going to go with the Bruno Rashford. Those players can't really keep the ball. Those players are not possession-based footballers. They're more transition-based, pace and power, get the ball, attack quickly, high probability players rather than, low percentage players. That's the kind of football he wants to play and implement, and with the sort of 3 at the back and 6 really high up and pinning the teams back. And I get that, and I get trying to play a more ball playing or bring in a more ball playing goalkeeper, but I just don't think he's getting it right. So, I mean, Maguire and Evans at the back. Okay, let's just quickly go through the lineup. Maguire, Evans at the back. Dalot, of course, Lindelof as fullbacks. Why he's playing Lindelof rather than Reguilon, given the sort of mobility and maybe the pace that Man City have. I don't know. Maybe you think, when Lindelof tucks in, he can be better in possession. I don't know what the thinking is there. Eriksen and Amrabat in the midfield. I guess he wanted to play with a double pivot instead. But I'm just annoyed that he didn't go for it a bit more. I'm annoyed that at this stage he's still, even after getting the players that he wants, we're not in a position that we can play players that or go on the offensive at Old Trafford. We're not in the position to go on the offensive at Old Trafford, and that is, at this stage, that's what I want to see from him. And he plays so defensively and weak. He played Bruno and Rashford in midfield, and a lot of you might think otherwise. A lot of you might look at it in a different way and look at it more, well, we're not going to go and out possession Man City. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do that. So I agree with his lineup. I agree with his setup. But for me, not for me. I want more. I want more now. I want more from the manager, and he's just not giving it to me. And Højlund, I know we have to be careful how we assess the kid because he's young, but he's playing in the first team now, and we're forgetting that as broken as Martial in terms of physicality, and he's not the quickest anymore, and he's literally made out of glass. But maybe this was a game to start Martial, who can hold the ball up. Because one thing that Højlund is not the best at the moment, while he is very physical, and he will improve, hopefully he will improve. We can't always determine what on how players improve. We just don't know. But hopefully he would improve that side of the game. But he's not the best at bringing players and bringing his teammates into the game as yet. His link-up play is not as good as Martial. And today might have been a day where you want a striker who can hold the ball up and bring others into play a bit more. I don't know. I'm just hypothesizing. But that's how he lined up. I think he should have been braver. What do you guys think? Let me know what you think. But, okay, in terms of the game, how I saw it, how I perceived the game, say what you see, not how you feel, as the motto is. So, I mean, the first 10 minutes, as I saw it, United had a few pressing moments, a few pressing triggers where we put Man City under pressure initially, which I was very encouraged by. We had an unorthodox save from Onana very early on. I was thinking, okay, this is going to be very interesting. But very quickly, United started to stand off, as most teams do against Man City. And City started settling down. They started moving the ball, 1 touch, 2 touch, left, right, stretching United. And the more they did that, the more we stood off to the point where our back four was more or less, in line with the penalty area for the first 10, 15 minutes. And that was really largely the pattern of the game. United essentially were going for the counter-attack. And that is what the manager wants this team to be. This manager foresees a team. He wants to create a team that is the best transition team. And by doing that, I just think he's just negating how important keeping possession of the ball is. But 24th minute, United conceded the penalty. So now this penalty, I've seen players do this in a penalty box, and we've all seen players do this in a penalty box time and time again. So, like most people, I think it was unfair because we've seen it not being given. But at the same time, if this was my player, I think I'd want it to be given. But a bit of consistency maybe would help. But I understand why the penalty was given. So it is what it is. Haaland fouled on Rodri. Soft penalty, but it is what it is. Haaland scores a penalty. Onana didn't save this one, unfortunately. But Haaland had a decent game today. Around the 30th minute, I think we had a bit of a chance. Haaland was through. So around the 30th minute, City had a bad back pass, really bad back pass. Haaland was through on goal, but it's just, I think his second touch, one of his touches was just really off. And that's what I'm saying. It's the kid is young, and today's game showed that he's still rough around the edges. He's still a rough diamond, I guess you can call him that. So we just need to be, give him a bit of leeway, but at the same time, understand that this is not time for you to have leeways, because this is the big time, and your touch has to be better. So bad first touch. The keeper got to the ball. I think he got the ball to Bruno, and Bruno skied it eventually. But I mean, since City's goal and after City's goal, United looked lost, void of ideas. Anytime we had the ball, we just give it back to City straight away. They pressed us very quickly. We couldn't build anything at all from the back because we just couldn't keep the ball. While at the same time, City were fluid, one-touch, two-touch football, swapping places, changing positions, seeing where space was. No one really needed to point at each other to tell them where to go. They just knew what space to adopt at any given time. Just cohesion in their play, and that's the type of football that I wish. I mean, City fans must be so lucky every week to watch that football, while we as United fans, for the last, 10 years maybe, at least, we've been watching just inconsistent, usually dross, rubbish. But yeah, I mean, it didn't really change. That's really how the half ended. McTominay had a shot that was saved by Edison. Yeah, I mean, the shot was kind of straight at him, to be fair. Onana had a shot that was saved by Onana. Haaland's header was saved by Onana. I mean, that save by Onana from Haaland, if I'm being honest, it was a good save from Onana. However, I do really think that it was a bad header at the same time. I think Haaland should have done better. Either head it down or head it into the corner. He essentially headed it straight at Onana. But I'm not going to take anything from Onana at this moment, because I think he needs this guy needs all the positivity that he can get. Let's just leave it at that. But yeah, so that's how the half ended. We had a change. Amrabat coming off for Mason Mount. Mason Mount, £55 million, £60 million, how much? What, with add-ons or whatever you want to call it, signing, wearing the number 7 shirt, and he can't get into the team. The manager wanted Mason Mount. He said, "This is my guy." There was loads of midfielders. There's lots of midfielders out there that he could get, and this is the one he gets, and he's not starting. I mean, he came on, and to be fair, he didn't do much. He didn't do much when he came on, so that's another thing. You can't, I mean, no one forced his player onto the manager. The manager got to take an L for that one. I'm sorry. And as soon as he came on, and that, like I said, didn't really make a difference. United, they came out, nothing really changed in the second half. City scored more or less straight away, 48th minute. This time, Haaland header at the back post again. But this time he scored. The goalkeeper, Onana, couldn't do anything about it. And I want to say something before that build-up, that move before that goal. It was just like all the way from the back. It moved all the way into the first phase, into the defense, into the midfield. It didn't pass through the midfield. It wasn't a looped ball from defense to the attack. So many players had a touch of the ball. Finally went to Grealish. Grealish, I think, gave it to Bernardo, who just chipped it over to Haaland, who headed the ball. I was thinking, I've not seen a goal scored like that for United at Old Trafford for such a long time. Why is it so difficult for a manager to come in and implement a good style of football at this football club? City playing with United. After that, they played with us. It felt like a training ground match, literally watching defense against attack. Left-hand side, especially Grealish and Bernardo Silva just having fun, just shooting and having chances and giving each other the ball and moving into different positions and just being fluid with the ball. We did have a chance though, around the 69th minute. Marcus Rashford was through and goal, a dink ball. I think Walker wasn't paying attention. Rashford got through, dinked ball through. His first touch was actually quite decent, Rashford. And he probably should have done better, to be fair, with that chance. But Rashford's not a striker. We've all known that by now. And if you still think Rashford is a striker, then that's just your opinion. But in my opinion, he's never been a striker. Garnacho and Reguilon came on for Haaland and Lindelof later on, around towards the 80th minute, I think. Why? I don't know. What for? Who knows what the manager's thinking now? Why take off Haaland? Why not take off Rashford? I don't know. That didn't really do anything. A few minutes later, 79th minute, Man City scored again. This time was Foden. This time, would I blame the goalkeeper for this one? It was a decent save, and I wish he parried it out towards, or out for a corner or something like that. But, to be fair, Man City deserved that goal. They did, so it is what it is. Haaland got the rebound, crossed it in for Foden. But I can't even blame, individual errors. We just got beaten by a better team, really. And how do you guys, or what do you think actually? What do you guys think about Martial and Antony coming on 86th, 87th minute for Rashford and Eriksen? Because I'm thinking the game's gone. You've lost the game. Are you taking the biscuit? You're taking the pee. You're taking liberties, because why are you, one, that's your £100 million signing that you're not starting against Man City. So we're going to have to talk about the fact that the manager has these players that he's not playing. He's not playing Varane for whatever reason. He's starting Lindelof at left back rather than playing a left back. He's bringing on Martial and Antony to do what in the 86th minute, when you could have brought them on the 60th minute. You could have brought them on a half time after seeing what was happening and seeing that it wasn't working. Why didn't you just completely change it and play? I just don't understand. Why has he? This is my issue with Ten Hag. It's probably due to my expectation, right? I thought he had a style of football. Just one style of football, a total football style of football. Expansive, attacking football, expression, fluidity, so on and so forth. It seems like he tried to implement that in the pre-season, in the first season. Martial, Rashford, I think Sancho. Great football. Martial injured, we couldn't really replicate it. lost the first few games. He reverted back to a more powerful, pace and power style of football rather than, that style of football. We bought Casemiro, who shored up the defense, build a good defensive foundation, and we changed. We never returned to that style of football that he tried to implement. We went a whole different direction for the whole season, and we continued that way. And I say it time and time again, after the end of the first season, I said to myself, I want to know what this manager thinks of the league and what he thinks needs to happen, what sort of players we need to buy, and what style of football he needs to implement to get us to the next level. And it seems as if his interpretation of what is needed is off with the Mason Mount stuff, and the way he's managing certain players and managing certain situations hasn't been good. Sancho, definitely, maybe argue Ronaldo, maybe argue Maguire. The management of the situation, whether who's wrong or right, that's whatever. But the management of the whole thing could have been better. I don't think his management is that good. It doesn't appear to be. And he looks like he's winging it. He's not consistent when he says, some players can play badly time and time again, while one player plays badly once and he doesn't play again for the next 2 months. He's not consistent in how he selects the team. You don't know the style of football he's playing with a 3 at the back, 3-1-6 formation. It's not a good. Nobody's implementing that style of football. Like, it doesn't work. We can't keep the ball in midfield. We just have 3 players at the back, defenders, who just pass the ball between each other. And then we try to fizz the ball through somehow to the midfielders who are just sitting in a long line with the attackers. It just doesn't work. We need to be able to drop in deep and move and change positions and look at different spaces and come to different spaces. Just move around, and we just don't do that. That style does not work that he's trying to implement, and now he just looks like he's just chopping and changing. I feel for the manager's future, and I feel that I don't think he's the right guy. I think we've got like a version of Ronald or Frank de Boer. Oh, my pronunciation's crazy. I think we've got a version of him. But yeah, what do you guys think of the game? Let me know your opinion of what went down today. Who was my man of the match from a Man United standpoint? I'll give it to Onana, I'll give it to the goalkeeper, but none of those players really played well. Rashford, non-existent again. Didn't do much. He tried, but Bruno, he gets away with murder in his fan base. He can do nothing, and it doesn't matter. Højlund, the kid, he tried, but like I said, a rough diamond. Amrabat, what could he do? Eriksen, the game passed him by. The defense, Evans, Maguire, they did what they could do, but we were just outclassed today and outplayed. We had no answers at all. Onana, hit and miss. Onana, he scares me. So unorthodox. Some of his saves were just awkward because he's very unorthodox, but he's always going to make good saves, and he is going to rescue us a lot. He's going to be that kind of goalkeeper, so strapping. But yeah, this manager, let me know. Give me your opinion, people. Please comment below. Yeah. But onwards and upwards, next game. I don't know where the light is, guys. I don't know. Maybe you can shed some light. If you disagree with anything I said, let me know. Educate me as well. Give me your opinion on the matter. How do you see this season going from here on? Not a good game. Not a good performance. Manager, 3 out of 10 today. I'm sorry. I'm not Ten Hag out, but Ten Hag, I'm slowly thinking you're not the right guy. But Just change it. All you got to do is implement something different. That's all you got to do. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Have a good day. Have a good evening. Have a good week. And I'll see you next time, next match. Peace. If you're not free.